Hola a todos, bienvenidos a otra edición de 5 preguntas, 5 minutos de Panamá Startups. Estamos vivos, estamos andando, esto continúa, seguimos con los esfuerzos, apoyando, tenemos el mercadito, tenemos las charlas, tenemos el tema de cripto, estamos haciendo de todo al mismo tiempo y no nos rendimos y seguimos hacia adelante. Y bueno, continuamos con las entrevistas que han estado ustedes viendo durante todos estos meses de encierro. Así que espero que la sigan disfrutando. Y en esta ocasión tenemos una persona súper especial. Muy difícil conseguir la entrevista, así que espero que la disfruten mucho y la aprovechen y saquen mucha información. Lo único que les voy a decir de adelantado es que, bueno, venimos en inglés porque nuestro invitado, después le vamos a meter un poquito de Spanglish y lo vamos a traer al español, pero por ahora full inglés. Así que para que sepan, y bueno, disfruten la entrevista y voy a dejar que nuestro entrevistado se introduzca un poco a él. Ya ustedes cuando lean su presentación van a saber de quién se trata, pero quisiera que él mismo se introduzca y sí les puedo adelantar que es uno de los emprendedores más importantes acá en Panamá y están desarrollando cosas increíbles y con conceptos súper buenos. Así que vamos a escuchar y vamos a absorber toda la información que nos tiene que dar Daniel.
Oh my God.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Very excited.
Very nice background. I don't know if we're going to dip in it later or what, but it's nice.
Yeah, this is a desert in Israel,
Oh,
the south
it
of
looks
Israel.
beautiful.
Excellent. So I'm originally from Israel. I was there, born there, studied there, been in the army for 5 years, and then I left to travel. I went to Latin America. Start from Uruguay. My father is from Uruguay, so half of my family lives in Uruguay, and I traveled through Uruguay, Argentina, went to Brazil, Peru, and then Panama and Costa Rica. I started doing real estate in Costa Rica in the end of my trip, just buying and selling real estate. It was 2005, the good old days of Costa Rica. I bought there in a small area in the peninsula of Nicoya. It's a beautiful place on the north of Costa Rica. And this is how I started. Then I moved to Panama. I lived in Panama for almost 12 years. I have married, have 2 kids, 2 amazing kids, a girl and a boy. My boy actually born in Panama, so he's Panamanian with a Panamanian passport, Panamanito.
That's great.
And this is the best passport in the house. We're very proud. And we, still when I'm flying to Panama, I feel that I'm going back home. I love this country. We're spending like 4 months a year there in Playa de Nao in Panama City in Casco Viejo. So I'm very excited to be here. Now I lived in London after Panama for like 2 years. And right now I'm back to Israel, but we're flying, all the time. So let's say 70% of the time I'm on the plane or in different countries.
How did you feel that? Because there's a lot of people who did that they saw that they stopped Costa Rica and came to Panama because they smelt the same thing happening. It's like the cycle is going to start now in Panama. So how was this process for you, and tell us a little bit about that. I'm improvising with the questions just because some you say, so it's really interesting.
Freestyle. I've been in Costa Rica when I was like 23 or 24, and we did a lot of deals there, but I can't say that it was really real estate. I was buying farms, getting permits in the local municipality, and I sold it to companies to sell, and they sold it to the end users. I never really deal with the end users. And I always heard about Nicaragua and Panama as like the next place. Nicaragua obviously it's in a different place politically, but people still talked about it. Nicaragua, it's a beautiful country. It's one of the driest countries in Central America, so the weather is great. But after quickly being in Nicaragua and in Panama, we decided to move to Panama. Panama City, it's a very metropolitan, beautiful city, safe. All the economy is there, banking, the canal, the currency is dollar, so it's easy. But when you go out of Panama City, it's not developed as of Costa Rica, right? There is a lot of opportunities. It's still a beautiful, beautiful country, but not as developed touristic-wise as Costa Rica. So when we moved to Panama, we decided to start with developments in the beach area on the Pacific coast. Even though the Caribbean, it's always more beautiful and sexy, it's also a bit more, the climate is different. And so we decided to invest more in the Pacific coast. After 8 months of due diligence, we arrived to Pedasi area, and we fell in love, and we started to buy a lot of properties there. This is the cycle, how we arrived to Panama. It took us a time. We've been everywhere in Panama, everywhere, and we fell in love in the Pedasi area, Playa Venao, Cañas, and over there we actually start our real estate venture. And we opened our first company that called Dekel. And after 6-7 years, we opened a different company, and we start with the SELINA venture.
You didn't have any background in hospitality. Did you just found the problem and the need and just went for it? Did you study a little bit, learn a little bit from other people about hospitality, or you just like had this concept you love so much, you said, F it, I'm doing it, and you just went for it?
No, Rafi and I really like to travel. Rafi is my partner and the CEO of the company. He loves a bicycle. He's crossing countries. He crossed Argentina. He crossed India a few months. He just did a Camino del Cruz, if I'm not mistaken, in Spain. He loves cycling around the world. Put all the equipment, and he just go sleep or in a tent or in different hostels. I love surfing. It's something that I travel all the time, and every time we travel, you have like different options, right? You can go to the 5 stars, you can go to the boutique hotels, you can go to the Airbnb, you can go to a 3 stars hostels. And every time we travel, we never really had like the right place that we want to go, right? If you go to the hostel, you have this cool, amazing environment, but then you go to the room and it's not sure it's for me. And if you go to the 5 stars, you have, great rooms, but zero environment, right? You don't have this social environment. And you can see today in the F&B and the co-working world, right? You have this environment, right? You go to great restaurants, you can have a CEO of big companies, you can have a backpacker and everything in between. Nobody really know who is who, right? You can go to a great restaurant in San Francisco, in Casco Viejo. Nobody know who is who. You go with a t-shirt or whatever it is. And then it's become very interesting. It's not that you have only restaurant for the 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, or hostels. Today, the F&B sector, it's for everyone. Today, it's as well as the co-work, right? 10 years or 15 years ago, if you're on the last floor, you're the most successful company. And if the first floor, you're not the most successful company in the building, and everything in between. Today, everything is mixed, right? Today, you have a co-work, or if you can have a company that raised $5 million next to a company that raised $20,000, and they make coffee in the same social area. So we decided to take this to the hospitality. Let's take the hostel and let's take the 5 stars and let's combine them. So when you go out of the room, nobody know who is who. So you have these right feelings, but we give all the service of, you have the restaurant and you have the co-work and you have the wellness center and you have everything, but the service is different. It's a mix between a hostel, an hotel, and a place. They're just comfortable to travel.
Yeah, that's like
so
the nomad culture. Yes, that's happening now with all these executives traveling and surfing and yes.
I think it's more of mainly to be social. I think that people look how to be social more and more. You see how we call it, SELINA, we're social without the media, right? So it's like a social, but take the media aside. I'm not doing likes in screens and everybody's more beautiful than me and everybody is more, everybody have private planes and everybody is in Greece, in islands all the time, jumping from, I don't know, from cliff. This is, you meet real people, right? You have social experience with everyone. And it's much more comfortable when you don't know who is who, because you have much more confidence, right? If you know it's only 5 stars or it's only 3 stars, not everybody to go to 5 stars can afford to stay in 5 stars. And when you go
Anybody
to
who goes
SELINA,
to a
it's really
5-star, they don't want to socialize. People in 5 stars, they're not interested in socializing. So only in the,
you will
maybe
not go to the
in
5 stars
the bar.
hotel and you exactly, and you'll get a friend there. And when you go to SELINA,
Yeah.
most likely you will have some different, very interesting conversation.
All the entrepreneurs you talk to all the time, they tell you, well, I want to do it, but I cannot get the financing. I don't have the money. Maybe I'm going to get somebody, a government help or something. And we always tell them, well, don't fixate on the money. Uh, just make the thing work. Have a nice concept, solve a real problem, and then find the money. So I wanted to ask you at the beginning, like, maybe there was some kind of crazy idea, because there already exist hostels, there already exist options. So maybe you had to convince people or make it understand your idea. So how did you do to convince the people who lended you the money at the beginning or who became partners with you to believe in your idea, believe in your concept, and give you what could be probably a lot of money to build a hotel or whatever as hostel? How do you do that, and what do you recommend people in this stage where they're looking for financing?
Okay, so first we had some investors that did the great, investments with us through the real estate venture before we start with SELINA. So we had kind of a experience how to manage investors and people that we already make some good profit to them. We had a database that we can go through, but in general, what I can say is if you have a good deal and you know how to explain it well, there is almost unlimited of money out there, right? Because there is a lot of people that want to invest. It's always very difficult to get good deals. Now, there is a lot of good deals out there, but maybe you don't know how to explain it well. And one of the secrets is not to give up. If I get 100 no's, one say yes, and it's a done deal, right? So every time you need to learn, you need to tweak a little bit your pitch. It's need to be simple, especially in the beginning. You need to make sure that what you're saying is makes sense and you can really explain it. It's not only a vision or a dream that one day maybe will make money. The numbers need to make sense. You need to show a sensitivity table. What happened if? So you show that you already thought about it. But you need to be also, there is a moment that you just need to stop consulting and you need to go all in. When I'm meeting with investors, most of the time I'm inviting them to invest with me. Now, what it means you're inviting them doesn't mean that you have the funds. So you're asking them to invest with you. But if you show that you're all in, it means that this deal is going to happen. We do with you or without you, right? So if the investor feels that he's missing something, that there is a form of getting inside this investment because these guys are going to do it, or these entrepreneurs, obviously they will consider very carefully if to pass on that or not. But you need to,
You probably sell it like you don't want to miss this opportunity. It's going to happen anyways, and it's a great
yeah,
opportunity. You should take advantage.
you are all in or not. I mean, you're not saying, look, if you're coming in, we can do this or that. You're not changing your time per investor. You come with a decision. This is the conditions. Obviously, things can be tweaked in the beginning, but you need to be the pitching to be very clear, and there is one direction to do it.
Yeah.
And this is, I think that if you're not coming with confident that this is going to happen with this specific investor or not, it will be very difficult to fundraise. You need to come all in. This is how I see it, at least. And you have all the time people that consult. It's very, very important to hear. But when you take a decision, you need a little bit to close your eyes and to just go all in. This is my opinion about it.
Okay, yeah, you heard it here. So, people, now you know how to do it from the mouth of the guy who's done it and successfully. So,
Also another thing that is very important, that in the at least in the seed or in the first round, you don't know where the company is going, right? SELINA, it's hospitality. Tomorrow it can be a membership, and it can be a co-work, and it's a co-work, and it's a wellness, and it's content. There is so many things. You can't tie yourself to something. There's some investors that will try to, for example, one of the investors in the beginning said, I want to have an exclusivity to buy all the real estate for SELINA. Obviously, and we really wanted to fundraise. It was only in the beginning. Obviously, the answer will be no, because if I'll give this exclusivity, today we're in 20 countries. We raise more than $500 million to buy real estate for SELINA. If I will have a first right with the first investor, I can give it to somebody else, right? So you need to make sure that you don't know where you're going, and things will change along the way. So you need to be open enough to say, this is my commitment, but I'm not willing to give any exclusivity for investors or stuff like that, because the first investor sometimes trying to get the best out of it.
Yeah.
So
Tough for the entrepreneur who's crazy to get the money. He sees his dreams gonna come true with this money, but he has to be very careful with all the
exactly.
the small letters in this accords. Many times that at the end of the day, the entrepreneur stays with nothing, and he's doing all the work. So a lot of entrepreneurs just leave their own projects because they're doing all the work and getting very few of the benefits. So of course, yeah, that's another good where you're going ahead of the end where I tell you to give advice to people. So let's go to the next question before you answer all my questions before I tell them.
Sure, I'm with you.
Okay, so the when you come to the scaling part, right? That's another step that is very complicated for the entrepreneurs. When you already control your situation, you control the financial, you control the sales or whatever you want to call it. You're happy, but you're gonna scale. When you were in that point where you were maybe one SELINA and then you're gonna go to the next one, or you're going to do five openings or whatever. What's the most important things to take into account in this point so you don't screw it up because going too crazy or overextending your reach? What is your opinion about the scaling part or
Look, in
stage?
scaling, it's something very difficult, and everybody's doing mistake when you scale fast, and you need to understand that you're going to make mistakes. If not, you should not scale fast, okay? And so I think that one of the most important is to really build a strong HR. You need a strong human resource, because to hire in a scale a lot of people, it's a key to this business. This is one. And second, when you hire these people, you can't look at the situation of the company today, because the company in 6 months will be a different company. And in 1 year is maybe going to be double. And in 2 years is going to be triple or more. So when you scale, you need to hire the people that you believe where the company will be 2 or 3 years from now. So it's always difficult, because difficult to pay these salaries for this, for these employees, because maybe you're a small startup, but you're planning to be here. Today you're here. So you need to try to find the balance and to pay more with ESOPs. And but this is very important.
With what? ESOPs? What?
ESOP, yeah.
Translate that to us.
ESOP, it's like Maca. How do I say ESOP in Spanish?
ESOPs? Like
Yeah, Stocks,
Like interns.
Stock option.
Yeah, okay.
stock options.
Yeah, you pay them with. Yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah. So you need to hire
That's
the
great,
people that
but
you
you know, here in Panama, it's very difficult. People they want money. It's crazy.
It's not Panama, it's all around the world. 90% of the things that you'll say here in Panama, it's worldwide. This is what I found out. So so you know, you just need to you need to hire the right people for not for today, for a year or 2 years from now. Because the company's work is, you know, it's like a plane that you build it meanwhile you're flying. This is a startup, right? So the plane is in the air already. You're in the air, but now everybody needs to still build it meanwhile you're in the air. So you need to navigate it and need to make sure that you land right. So every
Oh
person
my
in
God,
this plane need to help somehow and need to make
that
sure that
analogy
you
is
take it
incredible.
this direction.
I'm gonna do a post with that analogy. That's crazy.
Okay.
Okay, so that's I think it's that part is very complicated, and we would need a whole interview just to talk about scaling. So how to do it? We'll do a whole. I'll invite you to a workshop to talk about that. What do you recommend for what do you see happening, especially here in Panama, because we're not working with entrepreneurs anywhere else. So what do you see happening here with the real estate right now, like the office space? There's like a lot of offer, not many. So what do you think is going to happen, and where are your sights on in the real estate thing here in Panama?
You talking about Panama City specifically or in general in Panama?
No, the whole country, it's okay.
Look, I tell you what I see. I think that the COVID changed a little bit the way that people look at real estate. And the reason is that you don't have to live in the city. You don't have to live next to your office. You can go 3 times a week. Maybe you can go 5 times a month. It depends on the company. I believe that people go back to the offices less than what it was before. There is a lot of companies that already decided you will work 4 days a week from the office, and the rest you can work from home or from wherever you want. And if you can save cost or can have a better lifestyle, you know, to live 2 hours away from the city. And this is why I see that, you know, the second home where, you know, you can see all the projects along the coast, they're full. And the market is great right now there. In Panama City, I believe that the market will come back. I think that what is missing for me in Panama, it's, you know, all the time we're talking about benefits, right? You're talking about tax benefits, and if you do this, you get that, and if you do that, you get this. When I'm travel, I don't care about tax benefits. When I want to live somewhere, I want to live there because it's great lifestyle, right? So, you know, it was an article about how Amazon is choosing their offices. He said, I'm choosing the offices where I can hire good people. And you can hire good people when it's fun to live, right? When it's a great place to live. Now, I think that Panama, it's a great place to live, but we need to focus on how to make it better, right? To bring
Well,
bigger.
well, we have a SELINA in the Casco Viejo. It's a great environment, and I'm not just you know how I don't know how you say in English. I'm not stroking your ego, right? So of course we need to have more of that, but I think that caters mostly to millennials and to very young people. So we need some more options for the other ages, so that maybe
Look, I think
yeah.
that if you focus on the 30 and the 40, between the 30 and the 40, everybody feel comfortable. Right? The feel comfortable and the 60 will feel comfortable. You focus on the 60, 20 will never come. You focus on the 20, the 60 will not come. So you have this right age, and what is right age? What they're looking for? They want, you know, good kindergarten because they're young parents, good schools. You know, they appreciate simplicity. They don't really need this luxury 500 square meter apartment, right? there are a lot of outdoors people, right? So, and you see also the COVID, all the indoors got hurt, the outdoor, the street, the commercial change a lot now, or even with the Amazon, other stuff. I don't have to go to the mall to buy everything. I think that Panama have a huge opportunity to be the Silicon Valley of Latin America, if they will, if the government will take the right decisions. And I think that because you have all the benefits there, right? It's great to live, amazing weather, amazing people.
Yeah, the connection, the cable connections, the internet, all this.
The connections, the internet, the currency, it's a win-win. I mean, so just matter to take the right decisions.
Yeah, you don't have to convince me on that subject. Don't worry. I'm pulling for Panama all the way. So just we had some great information. Really, it's incredible. I knew it before. That's why I found you. And for the last, just to close, just give out the general, just any recommendation you give to the people who are starting the people who are starting a startup, a business.
Look, for entrepreneurs, the main recommendation that I have is to be focused, because there's so many ideas and you can be all the time you can make changes and changes and changes. You have to be focused and to run to your pilot and to see that it's working. One of the most important things that it's very difficult, it's easy to say, but it's very difficult, is to be honest with yourself, to read the data and to be honest and to correct it. Because when, as an entrepreneur, you sell all the time, you talk about it, you talk about the vision, you talk about where you want to be. And slowly you can convince yourself there's the reality. But you need always to look closely on your clients, on who is really buying this product, whatever product it is, and to see if it's successful or not. And, not to convince yourself all the time to be in pressure. You spoke about the COVID, that people needed to start from scratch. COVID is something that we all trust, that we'll have the infrastructure of flights, we'll have the infrastructure of going from place to place, and suddenly you don't have it, right? So you all the time need to be ready to make changes, but you need to, in the same time, you need to be very focused, get the real data and to analyze it. Because if not, you can kind of convince yourself. Maybe if you're a very good entrepreneur, you can convince other people, but you're going to hit a wall if you don't really read the data and analyzing the situation of the company. So this is my, sometimes you fell in love in the business so much that you forget about if it's really working or not. You convince
if
yourself.
You're making money, I think most of the entrepreneurs, especially the small ones, they're losing money, but they love it.
If you make money, or maybe your business is to make money in 5 years, but you're on that step to go there, and you see that you're getting there, right? You don't have to make money. In the Tesla, it's a company that still may be losing money. I don't know why, but no, I'm just saying you don't have to make money, but you show where you're going. You show where is the north and what is the steps together, and every time the north is going a little bit far, then you take it to the next step and the next step, right? We start with a location in Venao. Today we have a location in the Amazonas in Ecuador, and in Chelsea in New York, and in Camden in London, and in Surf Beach in Portugal, and an island in Redford, whatever, right? So it's not that I knew how to say it in the beginning, but I always knew where we want to go. And every time we take another step. Now we go to Asia. It's another step that we're doing, right? It's an important step, because to make business in Latin America and the US and Europe, it's not like to make business in Asia. It's a decision. So this is my recommendation: to be honest with yourself, to read the data, to analyze it, to get actions, and to move on. And that's it. The micro recommendation in Panama, I think it's unlimited. I think that Panama has so much potential in tourism that didn't touch yet. So I think it's huge. Obviously, it's my segment, so a segment that obviously we are focusing on a lot. But I think that Panama,
Well,
because of the location
yeah.
and the connection, we can
Yeah.
bring so many entrepreneurs to this country and continue to learn a lot.
So really thank you a lot, and I want to thank your team also who helped me and contacted me and gave me all the tips to make it happen. And if you have 5 more minutes when we cut the interview, we'll keep talking or whatever. I just want to ask you a couple of questions. I think
Sure.
that's it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Makalucha.
it. I will always will be happy to be here.